Hello and welcome back to another episode here on the OmathaCraft Season 4 server. It is episode 70 and today it is the penultimate episode of Season 4. I cannot believe how long this season has been going on for. It's almost been 2 years. We started all the way back in at 1.14 and now we are merging and getting very close to 1.17. I bet you can guess what that might bring to the channel. This is going to be a super exciting day. Today, in today's episode, we are going to be touring the world and taking a look at all of those builds and those farms that we have been doing over the past couple of years. I cannot wait to jump straight into this. But before we begin, I want to put this up on your screen. Tomorrow, Saturday the 22nd, there will be an OmathaCraft stream day. This is the end of OmathaCraft Season 4 stream day. There will be another video coming out following this stream day. However, this will be the last streaming you'll ever see from the OmathaCraft Season 4 world. So be sure to tune in. The times, as you can see, are on the screen. I'll be streaming from 2 hours from 1 PM BST to 3 PM BST, and I cannot wait to see you all there over on twitch.tv/RoverMC. But without further ado, let's go to where it all began and take a look at where we've come from. After trekking over from the spawn island, we made it to the communal district and here we set up camp. This was where we were going to start. We were going to find our first diamonds and we were going to get going for this epic season. And this is the humble abode we made. This little hut here started us off. Let's go and take a look inside and see what we have going on. We have our bed, we have our furnaces, we have our chests, we have our anvils, all of that jazz to get us going. I'm sure, yes, as we can see, there is still start of season junk still here. And down below is our mineshaft. But it was clear this little hut here wouldn't keep us going for that long. Look at the space, there's very little in here. We had to get bigger and better. But to do that in early game, that's a little bit difficult. XP is really needed. So what does that require? Well, that requires a farm. So we got farming straight away. Let's jump into the end. Here we go. Let's fly up if we can. There we go. Let's fly up into the air and take a look. We built our spaceship themed Ender. Now this has kept us and all the players on the server going for such a long time. Super redstone-ified with helipads for landing and XP collection systems so we can swoop our swords without getting damaged. Later in the season, we came over here and upgraded this place to add enchanting setups and private members-only areas. With XP and fancy shiny diamond gear sorted, it was time we were going to set up base in the industrial district. We first emerged through the portal into this plain surrounded by beautiful mountains and taiga hills, but here we are. This was where it all began. Now this was pretty messy until the previous episode, which if you haven't already seen, be sure to go and check out. We had a Q&A and we cleaned up some areas in the background, but what was the first thing we did? Well, smelting was key. So it was time to build the super smelters. With 1.14 adding 2 new smelter blocks, the blast furnace and the smoker, it was time to have a mega smelting setup with regular furnaces and all the smelting needs required. This got us going. But one question remained. How were we going to power all of these furnaces? As you can see, we have tons upon tons of furnaces here. We need to be able to smelt all our items somehow. With zero-tick bamboo farms removed out of the game, we had to find another way around this. So this meant it was time for a kelp farm. But as you might have already got the gist from this base, we weren't going to do it on a small scale, so one mega kelp farm was required, automatically being smelted down into the dried kelp so we can make it into the dry kelp blocks. This season, the focus of our base was farms. Let's farm everything. Let's farm it all and let's do it properly. We started off with something we are already using at the moment, fireworks, so incredibly useful. Flying around the server, boosting our propulsion, and this was necessary. Here we have our Omega Creeper farm with an AFK platform up above and a sugarcane farm to go right alongside, encapsulated in a greenhouse to keep it all nice and warm. But of course, that wouldn't be enough. We had to make an auto-crafting setup, allowing us to summon the gunpowder and the sugarcane, giving us the easiest way to craft firework rockets in the game. Firework rockets weren't our only necessary resource starting off in our world. One thing we desperately needed was wood. So we built up a lovely wood automatic AFK farm, which I must admit has broken quite a few times and remains broken to this day. Alongside that, we have a beautiful, another exploding concrete converter. This is our explosive barn. As one of the biggest builds in our base, the 2 towers, they are our sheep farms. Sheep give us wool, and wool, well, it can be useful. Maybe it was one of those farms that we didn't necessarily need, but I tell you what, I love the build which came from it. Down below we have access to every single colour of wool for all of our building needs, though I must admit it hasn't been used too often. With the sheep compacted down, with grass automatically rotating, this sheep farm has produced tons upon tons of wool in both of the towers. Oh dear. The point of the world tour wasn't to blow things up, and that was very close to death. 1.14, maybe infamously known as the Village and Pillage update, but we were going to make use of those villagers to enhance our gameplay to get all those amazing resources we can get from them. So that meant one thing, it was time for a villager trading hall. Giving us all kinds of resources, from books to pumpkins, from melons to bottles. These villagers have kept us going all season long. As you can see down in the background, we have our friend Rover's little helper, who is there to keep all of our villagers in check, and we can also use them to reduce their trading price. Now, I'm assuming by this point in the video you've got the gist of what we've done this season, but here it is. We have another one of our mega farms. This here is a witch farm. This was one of my favourite farms to do this season. It was something I've never done before, and as we can see, the witches drop down, they get killed, and then we can head down into our awesome sorting system. Down below in our spooky little cave, we have chests upon chests for all of the goods that are dropped from the witches, and as we can see, this has really built up. And obviously the #1 drop being the redstone dust. As we can see, I AFK'd here recently and we've got a whole double chest worth of redstone dust, just like that. Now that is how to get redstone. Always overlooking our base has been the remains of the prank, and I think you can guess what that is. We have a big statue of our skin just over here. Now this was a prank by Pyro all the way back a couple of years ago. Now this prank here, well, we made use of and we turned into an Omega cactus farm. With 2 functions, this cactus farm has kept us going in terms of bone meal and also for whenever we need that cactus. As we can see in these chests, we have tons upon tons of cactus, and it also gets converted down into the bone meal. 6 months into our OmathaCraft Season 4 experience, the Buzzy Bees update arrived, and this, obviously, in the title, brought bees to the game. And wow, they've all just popped out. What a brilliant time to jump down just there. Bees meant one thing. That meant honey. Honey blocks were the new big thing. Redstoners delighted, a new thing that works with slime blocks. Yes, we had to farm it, we had to sell it, but more on that one a little bit later. Do you think the title of the Honey Block King suits me? Well, you have to let me know down in the comments. With our farming game well and truly underway, it was time to start making some diamonds on the server, so we set up our redstone shop. Selling lots and lots of the resources we were farming, this shop has made us a lot of diamonds. Speaking of, let's go and see if we've got any lying around just now. Well, back in the staff area, let's go and take a look. Our profits and receipts, 22 diamonds in there, and I must admit, I don't check this too often, but yeah, that's always good. I love a few more diamonds, and let's take a look. Okay, we have sold a lot of goods. Well, it can't be a Minecraft base without a sorting system. Sorting systems we all need, however hard they can be to build. This sorting system has kept us going all season long. As we can see, we have storage for all the sorts of items we have been using all season long. Down at the end, we can also see our collection of heads and mob heads we have collected this season, including player heads. And we also have our 2 remaining IOU notes. I guess you're going to have to keep your eyes peeled for the next episode of OmathaCraft to see what we do with these. Now, as always, the seasonal elements of this season have always been a great event here on the server, and this was the location of the pumpkin carving competition. Now, Sally, the sassy squash, looks very, very sad now with her very long eyebrows drooping down her face, but this was the location of the pumpkin carving competition here in the Halloween district, which I must say is looking extra creepy with all of this red nylium all over the ground. The winter festivities also brought us over to the Christmas district, and over here we built a little jukebox, and let's give it a go. Let's press the nose just there and let's pop an item in and let's have a listen. Yes, there we go. We Wish You a Merry Christmas, and I believe we also have Jingle Bells in there, which is quite exciting. A little bit of festive cheer here in the Christmas district. Probably one of the least seen on videos, but personally one of my most used areas in the whole OmathaCraft season is the Nether Hub. This almighty Omega-sized project meant clearing out millions of blocks of netherrack, from clearing the bedrock ceiling to placing tons upon tons of glass, meaning we can fly around just like this to access any portal around the server. This project was a season-long project, and I know we wish we could have done more with it, but sometimes we've got to use something epic to realise the scale of the project. As we're on the topic of the Nether, let's go and take a look at some of the other bits and pieces we have done in the other dimension this season. Well, the Nether update released just around a year ago now, so we decided we would get to work and we would build, guess what? Another farm. This one was going to top them all. One of the biggest farms we have built this season in terms of the preparation, but let's get there and I'll show you what it entailed. A Wither Fortress was located, and here we have our Wither Skull farm. This farm is incredible. If we had to fly around the area just here, you'll see all of the stone slabs we had to place to remove any point of spawning in this area. This was a big job, but I tell you what, it was worth it. With Rover's little helper standing in the middle, attracting all of the Wither skeletons, you know what? The best way to look at this is to see it in action. The Wither skeletons spawn in on the Wither Rose platform, they run towards Rover's little helper, and then they fall to their demise. Our obedient wolf friend down below slays all of the skeletons, meaning they will drop Wither Skull heads. And here we have it. This little redstone contraption here converts all of the drops down into our little sorter down here. Let's take a look. Already in the very short amount of time I've been standing at the top, we already have 2 Wither skeleton skulls. The 1.16 Nether update also led to us braving this area here. This is what used to be a crimson forest. It has been pretty deforested by now, but it is pretty lethal, and we all came over here and built up our shop. We had a shop over there selling respawn anchors, and we had our little base over here, our little tower, allowing us to store all of our items. Let's pop inside and take a look. Down below we had a small piglin trading setup. This allowed us to craft and get tons upon tons of good items that were so valuable and useful. But with another update, this led to an increase of our mob head collection. From me standing just here, I think you can guess the item that piglins need to barter with. But for that meant we needed to, guess what? Farm it. Out in the eerie mist of the Nether roof, we have our gold farm. This is one Omega farm. You know what? The best way to showcase this once again is let me go and stand on the AFK platform. Let's bring on the camera count and let's show this at work. The zombie pigmen are attracted to the turtle eggs, which we have layered up inside the farm, and they rain. Look at this! The amount of gold we get from this is pretty incredible. Tons upon tons of items flow through this farm a second, and I tell you what, this definitely helped with our piglin trading. The gaming district has been one of my favourite places on the server. Now, as we are coming towards the end of the season, it has become even better. So many more people are working on mini-games, which a lot of them we are hoping to play in the next episode, so be sure to tune into that. But here we started off. This was our first build over at the gaming district, and here we have our bouncy castle. With sticky walls and bouncy bottoms, this was great fun to play on, and it's always nice for a nice little bounce. But it wasn't only that we built. More recently, we have built the boat race. The boat race starts over by the portal and then loops this way round. As we can see, it loops around to the east of the island. We then drop down below and we head down into the underwater depths part of this. We then head into a booster and we head directly upwards round to the loop. This loops the whole way round, as we can see, and inside we added a nice little PvP arena. This then loops back underneath the track and follows down the west side of the map. And then we'll see we loop down into our little cave system and down below. Following this, we have our two little boosters, one to take us up that way, and then we have a diagonal one just over here. This loops back round to the finish. And over here, we made this both a single player and a multiplayer game. Single player, this meant you had to time yourselves. And recently, I set my new personal best, beating, I believe, everybody on the board with 1 minute, 10 seconds, 0.83. That was my personal best. Now, the boat race wasn't our only game. We built the slime cloud over here. Now, this isn't just a slime in a cloud. This is Spleef. Now, Spleef is a classic Minecraft minigame, and we have built in survival mode here with slime blocks. This is a 2-player game, trying to get your opponents to fall down into the water pool down at the bottom. This was great fun to build, and it was something completely different, playing around with glass and trying to create a cloud effect. Now, as you will see, popping up around the gaming district are a whole bunch of new games, but as I mentioned earlier, be sure to tune into the next episode where we'll be playing a whole bunch of them. Well, there we had it. That was a little snapshot of some of the things we have done this season. Now, obviously, we have done so much more than what I've been able to showcase in today's video, but I urge you, go and check out some of the previous videos. There'll be some linked in the iCards, and there'll be many, many more in the playlist down below. But unfortunately, that is all the time I have for today's penultimate episode of OmathaCraft Season 4. Join me towards the end of May for the final episode where we will say goodbye to the Season 4 world. Let me know down in the comments what has been your favourite build on the OmathaCraft server this season. I'd love to hear from you. But as I said, that is all the time I have for today's video, so be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new around here, and subscribe if you're excited for OmathaCraft Season 5. We will see you in the next one. Goodbye.